Alrighty, everybody. So it's been a hot second since we did a devlog, and a lot has changed. I actually have my notes over here on the other screen just because there's so many things that have changed, and that's the nature of the game, right? During our prototyping phase, we're doing our like playing with mechanics and whatnot, and oh my god, has a lot changed. Last time I was really excited about how the gameplay loop was finished, and then I started playing it, and you'll notice right away off at the start that there's a bunch of things different in here. Let me actually increase the size of that. There we go. Um, First and foremost, we are in an actual room. There's the big green block, but you'll notice our UI has changed quite a bit. This is definitely not the finish, as you can tell by the white box and the weird little icons. Um, Part system gone. Um, not in the sense that you can't still pick your parts. That's obviously still a thing, though that is going to be changing just a bit. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the idea of losing parts as you as you take damage, got rid of it. And you might be thinking, whoa, wait, hold on, that was like the core mechanic. And I realized while playing it that no, it wasn't. Really being able to edit and manipulate all these individual parts of yourself, that's the core mechanic of this game. Being able to build your own body of your own weapon of mass destruction is really like the core mechanic of this game. Um, I was talking to a really good friend, incredibly talented and smart designer, um, and she was like, you're really making a snowball effect of losing when you take away the useful items from the player as they're taking damage, and that just like shattered the mechanic a little bit. Not gonna lie, if she sees this, I hope she doesn't feel bad because it was honestly one of the most like useful pieces of feedback I think I've gotten on this. I don't want the player, and this actually like kind of like got like a new design strategy in my head. Um, I don't. There's probably a term for it. I'm really bad at vocabulary. Always have been. Um, but the idea of restrictive design. I don't want to be restricting the player here. I really do want to make it so that the player feels powerful, kind of like the power fantasy that like Diablo and stuff like that generally gives. Though this isn't like a action RPG where you're supposed to be feeling like destroying all kinds of monsters. It is a roguelike where you should be managing your health and stuff like that. I want the player to continually feel like they're being made stronger and continually feel that their choices matter, right? And it got to the point where if the player loses the pieces of gear that they chose at the beginning shortly in to their run, well then it invalidates the choice that they made, right? So we got rid of that. I also had talked previously about a heat system. I realized that the reason that I had the heat system was to justify having melee. This wonderful, let me click back in, this wonderful melee ability I have right here. And I realized that that's not really like after playing like Neon Abyss and playing more Dead Cells and stuff like that, I realized having the heat system really is again more of that restrictive design, right? What I think I need to do is make encounters and enemies that demand the melee, right? So maybe enemies that have shields that can be broken by melee or something like that. That isn't implemented yet because that's a newer like development in the series of developments I have in this list here. But it is something that I'm just like, again, let's stop being restrictive and let's continue being make players like see more viable paths. That being said, I'm not going to make it so that way then you have to use melee to get out of these situations because that might not suit a player's playstyle. They might feel like the melee is just not for them. Um, so yeah, the big thing. Lots of developments have happened in that area. But that also does mean that free fall that I added last time, it really just felt tacked on to me. And I don't think we're going to be including that anymore in the way that it was brought on before. There might be certain levels or certain rooms that are a free fall, which because I do like those kind of mechanics and it varies up the gameplay a little bit, but I don't think that that's really what we should be going for. Now, you'll see that the game has actually become playable. Like, I can actually go through and run through rooms and attack my, enemies and get shot. There are design levels now. One of the cool mechanics that I added, kind of like not stealing, obviously, but being inspired by Neon Abyss a bit, is these elevators. Neon Abyss is another action roguelike that uses the one bug there that I'm still working on. That uses like little bounce pads in order to go vertically past what your jump will let you. I'm kind of playing with what I like. I'm noticing that this elevator, I moved it, but I didn't move its actual like base and I'm assuming it's bottom. Yeah, its bottom is down here. Obviously, this is supposed. Let's go over to the other one so I can stop showing my bugs. Yeah, so there's one. We have these elevators that let you ascend up and walk out of. Right now there is no input, which is something that I've been telling myself every day to fix. But it is something that I think I want to play with and see how I can make it work better. Another mechanic that has been added is being able to. I had my wife play this, and she was having a real hard time traversing. So you can phase through platforms that have no concrete underneath them. So that's been added to aid with traversal. Another ability is these legs, the Steps of Elowen. Elowen's a character that you'll meet early on in the game. She gives you these feet, which I'm going to be playing with the designs of a lot of things because I feel like you can't really see the feet here, but they do add, like, you can add traps and whatnot. Obviously, there's no art assets there, but let's go over to this guy, actually. Bam. That actually added way more. Yeah, it seems like there's a bug on how many it's going to add. Either that or they're rendering. I bet they're rendering behind the pillar here, which is actually really funny. But they do, cause damage to... There you go. That was actually a good spread. They're supposed to be kind of like... I'm going to forget what they're called. I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, and I wanted to say cantrips. Caltrops? The little spikes on the ground, that's what these are ideally supposed to be. And they need to charge a lot slower because you can't just keep adding them forever and ever and ever. But that's the idea. So your legs right now, originally they were going to give you like new dashes and stuff like that. And I realized like a consistent dash I think is a lot more useful. So I want them to be more like traps, right? Different things that you can do like stomp the ground, stuff like that. I do have enough super energy, so I'm actually going to go to the next room and pull the super out. Here's my super. It's still got a bug with the arm that I have there, but it does work. And it does make it... Ooh, this guy got stuck. You'll notice that, like, as any prototype, this is going to have a whole lot of bugs in it. Believe it or not, despite my, like, ability to shoot right now, there is now an aim assist in the game. It does. You see it part of the right over here. It's still going. I have to figure out a way to. Oh, there it goes. It did stop. Cool. There's like a speed check on like the parts that explode off of characters to be like, hey, I should blink out of existence. And that one just kept spinning. That was kind of funny. But yeah, it's still spinning. So the idea is that there is a little bit of an aim assist, right? If you're getting into like a certain amount of degrees aiming at a character, it's going to guide your bullet a little bit towards there. It's supposed I think it does. When it works well, it works really well. I think I just have to fine-tune the algorithm a little bit in order to make it like... I've noticed a couple times I'll be aiming and I'm dead on somebody and it'll go to the side a little bit. Not exactly what I want. So yeah, I'm actually going to restart it real quick while I'm talking about the next thing. The idea here is we're getting to the point where I'm going to be able to start like building levels, right? And I kind of already have, right? This is in itself pretty playable at this point. Let's see. There's another. I don't think it actually hurts anybody yet. Oh, it does. Nice. Couldn't remember if I got that working. Another, there's an error. Don't look at that. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and restart this. I'm assuming when the purple guy hits that, uh, what's it called? The green or the blue here, there's a bug there, which good. I'm gonna be able to go ahead and fix that. Um, what was I saying before that? Completely derailed me. Um, the oh, the big kind of like I really wanted to go ahead and have my world be built like more like Warhammer 40K. I think it's called Blood, Teeth, and something. It's this really quirky little shooter, very similar to what I'm building here. Where and it's all one like consistently well designed level, but it's not a roguelike, right? It's more of like just a little action platformer. Um, I wanted to take that consistent world, similar to how Dead Cells does it, where it is one consistent level. But you have games like Binding of Isaac and Neon Abyss that is individual rooms, and I think given the fact that I'm a one-person team, and just generally like this is kind of like for any of my students who are watching this scope, right? I already have crazy scope in this game. I gotta look at places where I can like reduce scope, and I think having it be room to room to room like this is going to be probably better for me. And you'll notice maybe depending on how if you just caught that, the default weapons that the you're given have changed. Um, this main arm is kind of more like a Mega Man shot, which I really like. I'm surprised. I guess if I jump, is this guy? Yep, now he's gonna come after me. There we go. And the melee, I think I'm gonna change this to a basic punch. But right now it does have a little bit of an interesting ability. It does like a little pushback for us, which I'm not a. If I'm gonna keep it as a pushback, I'm not gonna keep it like that. It's like a proof of concept. It works. It always pushes you back a little bit. It's supposed to be just kind of like a distance giver. But I don't like the way it works right now. So it's gonna have to be something that gets played with more and more. Um, this all being said, this is actually a development. I'm looking at my there's really two more developments that have changed, and I know this has been a little bit rambly. I apologize. It's just so much has happened, and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. But I really wanted to get this out. Oh no, there's three more. Okay, we're gonna go in order. This is more of like a behind the scenes type dealio. One thing that I'll like give the peek behind the curtain is right now we're in a combat test scene. Right, this isn't. It might end up being, but it isn't really like the game itself, right? It's just let's put this together, a whole bunch of rooms for me to run through to see how combat is working. Let me actually make this bigger, right? See how these rooms feel. That being said, I went ahead and built a room building scene, which is simply just this is a room that's currently in development. You can see like the lighting is actually pause. 2D lighting in Unity's freaking amazing. If you saw I posted it on Facebook. I don't know if I did Twitter or LinkedIn or anything like that, but the 2D lighting in Unity is just chef's kiss. It adds so much feel to the game. But this is my like room building scene where I can go ahead and make new room prefabs and just build the levels. I'm kind of hoping, like I said in a previous video, these videos are probably going to get sparser as the school semester and school year gets cooking because, you know, my actual job has to take priority, right? But I'm hoping I can get 2 rooms built a week or, you know, or sorry, I kind of like got quiet there. 2 rooms a week, or ideally it would be cool if I can get 2 rooms a day. Um, you know, be at work while students are working on their things and just in a sketchbook drawing them up, and come in here, slap them at least the shell together. Because then, you know, if I could do 2 a day for a year, that's 700 unique rooms, ish, right? Yeah, it should be 700 if I did every day, right? And just keep going on that while I'm building the game and the story and stuff like that. If I start every day as like a creativity exercise of building some rooms, I think that's kind of what I want to go for. But yeah, so Because I do want to make this very handcrafted and well designed, not just like random. Um, but I do think like this is a cool system for me to go ahead and be building things, right? Because this essentially is you just link the doors together, and as you clear one room, you can go to the next room. Um, Now, what was I going to say next? I was going to go into. I really, 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 really love, and this actually, this kind of blends into the next bit. Uh, the power progression in Dead Cells. I think they got that perfectly. I mean, it's not something that I feel a lot in other games like Binding of Isaac or even Gungeon, which is like my probably it's really close, probably tied for my favorite roguelike with Dead Cells. But Dead Cells, like the fact that they have the damage numbers, I think that's really what it comes down to. And like the number evolutions of the different weapons that you get. I think I want to try and emulate that a little bit. So I think this is going to become a little bit more numbers heavy as you're doing damage. It's not like, previously, if we look in here, we had the individual health nodes. I don't think I really like that anymore. I think I want to make it so that way that instead of having X amount of hearts, you have a number in here. Right now, it's 100 health. If you equip the whole Trinity set, that rusty looking set, it's 125. That's how much health you have. I think I really want to start playing with those numbers and then have, as you go through, you finding higher level versions of gear that you've unlocked and then being able to unlock new gear. That all goes back to kind of like, I just pressed a button on the controller. Something that is probably going to change. I don't think you're going to be able to pick from every piece of gear that you've unlocked here. I think that kind of like invalidates the idea of a roguelike just a bit. I think what's going to happen is this is not always going to be a computer. It's going to be more of like a shop front with a character. And that character will be saying, I already know what character it's going to be. He's already designed and all that stuff. These are the parts that I found on my recent delve through the tower. Or this is what I got from the front lines. Because there is, story-wise, a war going on. And he'll have a couple heads for you to pick, a couple torsos, not everything you've unlocked. But I do want those versions that he finds you to be able to influence, like how strong they are, stuff like that. So some longer game systems. But being able to pick everything you've unlocked, I think invalidates the game as a roguelike and will make it impossible to balance the beginning parts. So that is something that I think is going to change going forward. Right now in this, obviously, like in this combat testing, you need to be able to pick everything. Just to be able to test mechanics, test stuff like that. But yeah, sorry, I'm just checking my notes real quick to make sure I got everything, because I think that's it, guys. A lot of cool changes have happened. Very small, but the camera, I think, is finally like set, which is one of, if I don't remember who this was, but it was definitely one of somebody in the Bradley University alumni server was talking about how they were asked about the 3 C's. And I'm blanking on what those 3 C's were, but I remember one was character and one was camera. Camera has been figured out. There's something called the Cinemachine 2D Confiner, which allows you to put a box or a polygon collider around an area, and that it will confine the camera to that area. We got that going now, so every room has their own confiner, and that's assigned to the camera when you enter a room. And oh my gosh, this camera just feels so much better than anything I had before. So I think the camera has been set, which is a huge cornerstone for getting the game working. But yeah, guys, I don't know what the thumbnail is going to be for this. It's just going to be like, whoa, what? This is a whole new game type of deal, because literally everything changed. That's the nature of, long-term projects and prototype changes. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to show you guys, because it's actually really freaking cool. You can, when you use your leg ability, you can, like, ground pound. It doesn't actually do anything to enemies when you ground pound, but it does make you drop faster, so I think that's pretty cool. There will eventually be some animations that go with it. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling because that's a lot of information. I kind of just like went off the dome, kind of didn't follow my note like guide at all. But yeah, the game's coming together. It's playable. It feels like a complete package now. It feels like, we've tried a couple new things. They didn't work, which is normal. And we're going through and we're figuring it all out. So thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate. Leave feedback. Tell me what you guys think of these changes in the comments. And I appreciate all the time that you guys have given me. Peace.